So I got the dash pulled apart, got the console pulled apart, because I gotta make room, disconnect all this stuff, set it on top. Okay, it is the next day and we got it ready. We're gonna park it right here. It's out of the way in the grass. It's not in the shop, but guess what I gotta do? I gotta jack it up a little bit, put it on some blocks and whatnot, and start dropping subframes and drive shafts and all of that junk, pulling it out of there. Yeah, that's gonna be intense. That's where it's gonna sit until the prodigal son is ready to receive Renegade. I think we're gonna call it Renegade 2.0. I think that's where it's gonna be. It's gonna be sick. Let's go. Okay, it started really raining. As you can tell, my camera's all foggy. Hopefully that's a little better. But it really started raining. Got the battery and intake started coming apart, or taken out. But it's clearly not a good time to be, to be working on engine compartment stuff. And so, who knows? We'll just have to wait until another day. I guess I need to get a canopy.
A few moments later.
Well, with this intermittent rainstorm, I went and bought a canopy. That way, even if it's raining, I can get done. Okay, so this is where I'm at. Okay. All right, we're on the engine removal methods and precautions and engine removal and installation. Obviously, I'm just looking to disconnect everything. So I'm just reading through this, or read through it. There's quite a few things I need to disconnect, which is totally fine. And here, got to remove some of these things. All right, just got the fans out. Basically, to get these out, really, really simple. I've already drained the radiator. All you have to do, got to take the top radiator hose off to get the driver's side fan off. And then there's 4 bolts on each one, 2 on the top of each one, that you need to pull completely out. And then at the bottom, there's actually 2 that you only need to loosen, just slip over like that. So you just need to loosen that, and that's on the passenger side. Driver's side just has these guides that you just pop out. So that makes it really easy. You just pull up on the driver's side after you loosen this hose, and you're good to go. Yeah, so I mean, I also for the radiator, obviously got to take these off. They sit over this. You take out those 2 nuts, or these 2 bolts, pull that off. Now, should be coming loose here. So, just gonna figure out what exactly the next step is to get these off, but that's how you get the fans off. Now, obviously, I'm labeling all the plugs really well, like the lower fan plug, the upper passenger and driver side fan plugs, because I'm hoping that I can rig something up to be able to use these electric fans on that motor, which would be ideal, just to use that because they're already set on the computer and everything. So hopefully, but gotta take apart the transmission cooler, drain all the transmission fluid out of it, take all the extra stuff I put on there. I gotta take it off to get this radiator out of here, but let's get that done. Alrighty. We got the AC condenser, radiator, transmission cooler, auxiliary transmission cooler all out. So something for the radiator. These brackets got to come out, right? Because they're sitting on top of the radiator like this. Also, the transmission line actually bolts into the bottom. So you got to make sure that you take out the two bolts that are in that, so that you can take this off, pull the radiator out. Obviously the lower radiator hose as well. But no turning back now. Haha. So there are a couple plastic guards that go like on the side of the radiator here and here on both sides, that you'll have to take off as well. So that's what those are right there. But yeah, that's kind of the front radiator and all of that. Now time to get this thing off of here, transmission cooler, and yeah, let's rock and roll. Keep going. We're making good progress. Also, for the condenser, AC condenser brackets, there are 2 brackets that go on top. You have two bolts here and 2 bolts here. The passenger side has the tree clip. Once you pull those off and disconnect the condenser hoses, the condenser just slides right out, no problem. All right, looking at this, where the starter is right behind these radiator hose right here. And that's where the power goes. That's a 12 millimeter nut right there. And then the ground, like the engine ground, is actually this right here. It's a 10 millimeter bolt right there. It's just right here. So this is the starter. And this is the engine ground right from the battery. So I just disconnected those, laid the wires up here, and then just took out the battery tray, or loosened it. Just 4 12 millimeter bolts. Just got to disconnect this wire, pull that tray out. All right, finished taking all this crap off here. Got the side bracket for the battery holder, mount, place, whatever you call that. So the shifter cable. So yeah, there we go. Shifter cable. There's 2 bolts right here. These 2, 10 millimeter. And then I just took this off and just left that on there. Can always take that off later and put it back on this. But I'm just trying to take as minimal amount as possible apart to get this swapped. So that way we can get this out of here as soon as possible and start getting it on the frame of the Chevy, and then figuring stuff out from there. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. And then with the alternator right here on the passenger side, 12 millimeter bolt right here, and then there's 2 10 millimeter bolts holding this bracket on, and then there's a secret 10 millimeter right here to get that off, to get the alternator wire off. So that's that so far. Okay, quick summary of what all I've done today. So I got the PCM, just pulled that out, disconnected that. So engine harness should be completely disconnected from everything. Alternator disconnected. Obviously got the radiators for everything, and the AC condenser and transmission cooler and so on and so forth. Got the fans off. Got the air intake disconnected. Got the diff breather disconnected. Brake booster, something or other here. Oh, right here. Brake booster from the intake disconnected. Have this line for something going on with the brakes as well, disconnected. Yeah. So let's see. Battery. Got the engine mount up top disconnected. Left the bolts in it, but it's disconnected completely. AC is disconnected. This didn't have any AC, what do you call that? Freon or whatever the heck they use nowadays. They didn't have any of this. My AC was actually not working, so I didn't have to worry about bleeding that out. I just disconnected it. Yeah, that's where I've got so far. Well, a couple hours in, and we're looking like we got some decent progress. Got the shifter disconnected as well. Right, got that disconnected. So yeah, I'm in it. So, because I ain't putting this back together. I am doing this. I'm committed. So, this will be quite the adventure. I'm tired, so I don't want to think about it anymore because I'll lose motivation. Okay, Renegade fans, we are almost ready to get this engine out of here. It's a new day. It is Sunday afternoon, and the goal is disconnect the rest of the stuff in the back, jack this up, and get this front clip out of here. Or not front clip, the front subframe, excuse me. And wheels and tires and everything to get it out of here. So we're going to jack this up, make sure everything's disconnected, and then see if we can roll this thing out of here in the next couple hours. Okay, I'm up under this thing. Up under? Yeah, I'm just under it. I'm going to be taking off the front of the drive shaft here. You got to disconnect the exhaust up there, and that way it can drop out. We can drop the subframe and everything. Just jacked it up on some jack stands. Got the jack under it still, and tires on it, just in case while I'm moving stuff around. Yeah, let's get on taking these 4 bolts out. They're 14 millimeters, right there on the edge of the drive shaft. There's 4 of them, and haven't looked at the exhaust yet, but that's going to be up front. So taking off this carrier bearing, something to check out is with the lift that you guys put on here, make sure you're dropping this at least an inch with your subframe. This is what I got from Ace Hardware. It's just like a 1/8 inch metal sleeve that can just be used as a spacer right in here. I think it was like $2 or $3 from Ace Hardware. And then I just got some longer bolts instead of the stock. Oh, where'd that bolt go? Instead of the stock bolt, I just got a bolt that's the same thread pattern and everything. The original one's only about that long, so I just got one that's essentially an inch longer that can have threads or has that sleeve space. So that's what I did. It took out most of my vibration that I had from the lift and everything, so I was very satisfied with it. Essentially, it's the same thing as the subframe drop. It's just the stainless steel version of it. So yeah, I think HRG's kit comes with it. I just didn't know that's what I needed to do at the time. So you guys that are looking at drive shaft issues, I definitely look at that because it helps take the strain off the carrier bearing. Okay, drive shaft is out, exhaust is out, the shield, the skid plate for whatever this thing is, I gotta look it up, but skid plate for that is out. I think the only thing left to do is the steering column and a wire or 2 over here, and I think this thing's ready to get the front subframe outie. Woo! Yeah, buddy! All right, it is ready, I believe. Ooh, mosquito. Got him. I believe it is ready. This is what's so insane. It's gonna happen, I think today. The front's coming out. So, did all of this. All the side, I went around, disconnected the steering column, the brakes. All right, I went in here, disconnected the brake lines. The struts are disconnected. The power steering rack's disconnected. The drive shaft and all of that is disconnected. From the cat back front on the exhaust from the cat back is disconnected. I mean, all of these lines are disconnected. I believe everything's good to go. This mount is disconnected from here. That way it can just drop out and I can disconnect that with a little bit more space. So the next step is actually lifting this to get this out. Okay, after one last inspection under there, I think everything is disconnected. So, because it's sitting up on blocks, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start loosening the subframe. Probably take the back two out, or really, really loose, and then do the front two. Okay, so the heater hoses, didn't get these ones. So this needs to be taken off the firewall right here. And then this needs to be disconnected right here. They both run right down here onto the motor. Other than that though, I believe everything is disconnected. This is so freaking wild, man. This is wild. My heart is beating. I'm scared, excited, just all of it. Oh man, this is gonna be nuts. And who knows, later, maybe I'll get this motor turned 90 degrees, connected to a 700 R4, and then put back in this on that frame. Then it'd be more Honda, you know? And then I could even do like superchargers and all of that on here and not worrying about breaking stuff. Oh. Check it out. All right, it is lowered. It's good to go. Wow. Dun, dun, dun. Now, this is just crazy and wild. It's actually a really big engine compartment. I am thoroughly impressed with how large this is. Now that this is out, all I have to do is take this thing down, take off the hood, and then just lift up the front of this, scoot it back, set it down. Or something to that effect. Maybe I'll come in sideways with the forklift and lift it up from the side. Then I can just drag this out because it's still connected to the tires for a reason. That way I can roll it if possible. But yeah, hopefully. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to just like try to pivot this around on it, which actually might be not too bad. Coming over on this side, lifting it up and scooting it, like just backing up with a skid steer, and then setting it down. Probably the best thing to do. But that thing's out. Woo! Yeah! Wait, that was actually a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. That hood is not as heavy as I thought. But nonetheless, that step is down. So it is now time to clean up and get this ready to move. Let's go. Okay, my thought is to be able to lift this, put the bumper back on, and then I can just wrap the chain around the ends of this. Since most of the weight is out of the front, imagine it's not going to be too heavy for that to hold. So as long as I go slow and easy, I feel like I'd be able to pick that up and just kind of rotate it and set it back down. I guess we'll find out, but I believe it should be strong enough for that. My guess is it'll work, but let's hope, because last thing I want is to drop it on top of that motor and damage stuff. That would suck. But let's give this a shot. Hope you paid attention and caught all the action. This is so wild, man. I never thought that this would actually happen. And it scares the living crap out of me. But that's why I got to do it. So, here it is. Look at that. This is either going to be the most glorious thing or the worst mistake of my life. But I prefer it to be the most glorious. I honestly think it'll work. It's just gonna be wild and crazy. Holy cow, this is just insane. Man, that really made me nervous when that rope kind of came off, or that rope side came off. I was like, oh man, screwed. But we made it. I'm gonna need some help moving this thing. Get these jacks out from under it. Get that strap over here. Just kind of lift it up, pull those jacks out and set it back down is probably what I need to do. But yeah, how freaking wild is that? Holy cow. Never thought that would have happened. Jeez. Woo!